This is your Wretched Recap for October 24th, 2025. What's going on, guys? I'm Zach, the Wretched Watchman, and welcome to the Wretched Recap for October 24th, 2025. And this is just a quick hit video that we go over a few news things that are worth discussing and going over that have happened the past week. Some of which we may have covered in a past podcast that I think is important and I'm bringing up again. Or they're brand new things that I haven't covered before, and they're something that I think we should be aware about. So we're going to go over a few things. We're going to be going over Amazon's robo workforce, as well as the company Ring deals with Flock. Trump turns on ranchers again, Project 2025, and Venezuela, as well as another pedophile has been found in the church. So we're going to go over a few of these things and just take a look at what's been happening this past week and what's going on with that. So first up, Amazon's robo workforce. And it's no surprise to see in a headline like this, it says Amazon to replace 600,000 U.S. workers by 2033 with robots. If we've been paying any attention to what's been going on with the tech side of things, specifically when it comes to both AI and robotics, we would understand that this has been something that a lot of companies have been looking towards doing. Now, right now, we're seeing the implementation of AI within a lot of the workforce, and they're taking people's jobs when it comes to logistics, as well as accounting and finance and so on and so forth. All the people are getting let go because AI, you can have one AI system running all that stuff at the same time. The robotics side of things is still working its way up to that level, but we have noticed that there's been some industries getting affected with robotics. We've seen self-driving taxis, self-driving shipping trucks. We've also seen some automated ports that's been going on. A lot of trucks and lifts that are utilized within port shipping. They're starting to do those. There's videos online that you can see of automated cars transporting containers back and forth from ships to the docks and so on and so forth. So, but we've seen some of that stuff. We've seen other warehouses that are starting to test out the robotics. They're still very slow, not as efficient as humans. But we do know that the eventual idea is to replace humans with the workforce. And so we got this coming out. And it says Amazon plans to use automation to replace more than 600,000 workers who would otherwise be hired in the United States by 2033. Amazon's robotic team is reportedly working towards the goal of automating 75% of its entire business. By 2027, it is expected to eliminate around 160,000 jobs in the United States. To avoid negative publicity, Amazon is reportedly actively avoiding words such as automation and AI, and instead talking about advanced technology and cobots, robots that work alongside humans. And of course, they want to go along with using that type of language. That's just an old psychological trick. A lot of therapists utilize changing up words and stuff like that because they're less, it's like using a black marker as opposed to a red marker. A red marker stands out more, it signals something bad, so on and so forth. So if you use a black marker, while it may be correcting something or it's a negative in some type of way, it's not as relevant or not as promoted and so on and so forth. So that seems to be what the avenue that they're taking. So, but it looks like Amazon's on track to start doing massive damage to human workforce. We understand that Amazon's got a massive workforce, so that would definitely cause some issues, not only here in the United States, even though that's just about the United States, but we know Amazon works globally, so we'll see what happens in regards to that. Up next, we got Ring deals with Flock. And back with Amazon again, it says Amazon Ring security cameras moving deeper into law enforcement with Flock safety and Axon deals. If we jump down here, it says Amazon's Ring security cameras are moving deeper into law enforcement work in a new deal with Flock Safety that will allow citizens who own Ring cameras to share footage that can assist in crime investigations while making the video available to law enforcement that uses Flock's software. It's the second recent deal bringing the Amazon Ring security tech into the law enforcement market in new ways, with Ring also recently announcing a similar effort with Axon enterprise. We've talked about Axon before on this channel. They're not as well known. It's not really a name that's well known, but they're used often when it comes to body cameras for police and other officials and whatnot. But we also know that Axon has AI programs that will automatically write up transcripts. They'll automatically write up phone conversations and discussions happening between an officer and whoever they're talking about, and they'll also whip up reports as well for any detainment or arrests or anything like that. They'll write up arrest reports. It says the Ring community request features will be available for use with the Flock OS and Flock Nova platforms that are contracted by local public safety agencies that will enable law enforcement officers to directly request video evidence from Ring cameras, but citizens will make the decision whether to share the video. Police requests will go into what is called a Ring Neighbors feed, which pings camera users within an area identified as relevant to a crime. We know with Flock too, we've talked about Flock, they're notorious for their traffic cameras. They're able to use traffic cameras to track people and via their license plates, as well as facial recognition, and be able to scan them and follow them through neighborhoods, through state lines and stuff. There's been reports of people getting arrested from going from one state to another because of the Flock cameras that are being used. But what we see here, what I think is the most important part, is not necessarily the video stuff on the Ring cameras itself, but it's the fact that Amazon Ring is joining up with both Flock and Axon for what they're using with that. So what this is it's creating a network of all these different facial recognition, biometric scanners, video surveillance, audio surveillance, the police network, the police database, all this stuff. It's creating a centralized network between all these companies, and they're able to send this stuff back and forth and be utilized that way. It also talks about pinging specific neighborhoods. This is also a way to create geofencing. It's also a way of creating maps where certain people are located, and they're able to generate data and predictive AI programs through the utilization of pinging through these pieces of technology as well. So there's a lot more to it than just, the cameras are going to be recording things and it can be sent to police. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with that, but this is just another step to what we're seeing when it comes to this this networked in just digital prison that they're trying to build around us. Up next, we got Trump turns on ranchers again. And this is just a case of nobody seems to ever learn their lesson when it comes to this. But we have Trump admin warns Argentina beef might be diseased, but U.S. may still import. Jumping down, it says on Tuesday, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said on CNBC that Trump is in discussions with Argentina regarding the proposal, but said that the country is facing a foot and mouth disease issue. Now, this is just another extension of deals being made with Argentina that benefit basically the stockholders that are friends within the Trump administration. We've talked a lot about this situation between the United States and Argentina on this channel. So you guys can go and check that out if you want to know more about the $20 billion deal that's looking like they're trying to get it up to $40 billion, which I don't know what's going on with that. That's just kind of floating out there in limbo. But they want to do that. So our government's shut down here in the United States. They're canceling food bank programs. People are losing their jobs. People are furloughed and so on and so forth. But instead of trying to do the America First thing that we continue to get rammed down our throat by the Trump administration, they're sending $20 billion over to Argentina to build up the peso that's failing over there, because people like Scott Bessent, his hedge fund, as well as Rob Citron, who's a friend of Scott Bessent, in order for them to make money on their financial assets within Argentina, the United States has to bail them out, utilizing your money to do so while you're over here hurting. Well, on top of that, we have this that's now happening with the beef situation. And it's looking like they're looking to bring in anywhere from 3 to 4 times the beef, the cattle and the beef from Argentina into the United States, basically giving the middle finger to the ranchers here in the United States. Now, if anybody's been paying attention from the first term that Trump was a part of, the farming and agriculture and cattle ranchers, not most, but a lot of them went out of business, and most of them were hurting because of financially hurting because of the things that Trump was doing. But what did they do? They decided we're going to completely be three blind mice to that, and we're going to go ahead and support him this time. And what is he doing? He's doing the exact same thing. He's saying we're not going to work on helping the United States farmers and cattle ranchers. We're not going to work on America first. We're going to start importing beef again, and then it looks like it could be diseased foot and mouth disease. Keep in mind, we're already having the issue with the New World screwworm that's working its way up from South America through Mexico and to the Texas border that would affect our cattle here in the United States. But now we want to import beef from Argentina that could have another disease on top of it. It says Trump's plan to import Argentine beef, framed as an effort to lower U.S. prices while supporting the country's ailing economy. If you want to help with the U.S. prices, I don't know, take off the tariffs that are actually causing damage to the consumers. How about that? Has faced significant criticism from farmers, agricultural groups, and a handful of Republicans. It says, beyond potential health concern, Trump's plan has faced pushback from farmers and farming groups in the United States. Those who spoke with Newsweek expressed frustration at the administration's plan, viewing it as supporting foreign ranchers over America's own agricultural sector. I'm appalled President Trump, who campaigned on how he loved farmers, is putting America's farmers out of business by helping Argentina farmers first. That should be no surprise if you're paying attention to the last time. But again, these people don't pay attention. They have the memory of a goldfish. And it also says Colin Woodall, CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, warned that the plan creates chaos at critical time of the year for American cattle producers while doing nothing to lower grocery store prices. And from what I'm understanding is grocery store prices are so high on beef right now that the majority of beef is actually getting thrown away when they do their change-outs, their shuffles, and it's all going in the garbage because people can't afford it. So the prices are so high, people can't afford it, and the food's just getting thrown away. Anyways, there's a serious problem that's being done here. One of the big problems that started this whole thing, and it's been a problem ever since it came into effect, was the Wholesome Meat Act of 1967, which did come into effect. It became a law. And what it did is it made it so small-time slaughterhouses, small-time ranches, small-time intermediary plants that they handle the meat and they get it prepared for shipping or to be sold and so on and so forth. If they weren't able to match government-regulated systems that they wanted in place because of this thing, they had to shut down. The problem is most of the slaughterhouses that were perfectly A-OK and have been handling meat for hundreds of years, they are small enough where they can't afford those regulations and they got shut down. And so what we have is beef processing plants. There's basically 4 of them that handle everything globally. 2 of them are from Brazil. And of course, Brazil is one of the highly tariffed nations or tariffed countries that's happening right now, which only adds to this. But there's 4 mega meat processing plants that mainly handle everything. And so that raises costs up, that raises time of processing to be able to get done. And so it slows down that ability. It also makes it so ranchers can't afford the costs that it takes to go through those things rather than a simple slaughterhouse that they used to have. And so this creates a giant bottleneck. It creates higher prices, and it creates a system where the 4 mega people sit on top, make all the money because they're charging exorbitant prices to get it done, which most people can't afford to do. And so the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and those who rely on the meat get to pay extra top dollar for a cheap cut of meat in order to get it done. So that's the problem that we're having, but nobody wants to touch this. They don't want to touch this. What they're going to do is they're going to keep that in place, and they're going to go and import from Argentina, which helps their crony capitalists that they have over there, their friends and Citron and Besant and so on and so forth. But then it also creates a problem when it comes to health issues as well that could be happening from it. So there's a lot to that, but I just kind of did a simple breakdown. Hopefully that'll explain some of the stuff regarding that. If anything else comes of it, we'll let you know on this channel. Up next, we got Project 2025 and Venezuela. Now, this is something that we have already covered on this channel. We covered this in a podcast. And again, if you want to know if there's anything that I'm repeating, it comes from the last 2 podcasts that have come out. So either from Saturday or Tuesday's podcasts. So make sure you guys go check those out if you want to know more information, as well as a whole bunch of other information on various different subjects and topics that's going on. I get a lot of people that come at me and stuff and says it's just too long. I don't want to watch all that stuff. Can you just do shorts? I can't make shorts of every single thing that I talk about because I'm talking about 20 different things on each podcast. Watch it in segments if you have to, but there's a lot of information that if you don't watch the longer stuff, you're not going to get. And there's a lot of depth there, and I tie a lot of things together. So go check that out. But we have covered this before, so if you want to know more information about this, just go check it out. But I want to bring notes that what we see going on with Venezuela, the buildup of the militia in Venezuela, the buildup of the military, the United States military in the region, the warnings sent to the American embassy in Trinidad and Tobago, the blowing up of supposed drug cartel ships. One could have been Colombian. We see the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, is getting involved and saying that he's kind of siding with Venezuela now. So there's a buildup of what's going on in Venezuela. And we covered it in the last podcast that there was an attempt to start a regime change during Trump's first administration, but it didn't happen. I believe it's because it wasn't the right time to, so they put it off. But one of the things happening is Project 2025, which is that mega Christian nationalist document, policy, complete makeover of the entire United States is being put in place right now by the Trump administration. And one of the aspects involved with it is a regime change in Venezuela. It specifically talks about Venezuela, Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro, who's currently Nicolas Maduro's heading up Venezuela right now. But if we jump down here, it says to contain Venezuela's communism and aid international partners, the next administration must take important steps to put Venezuela's communist abusers on notice while making strides to help the Venezuelan people. The next administration must work to unite the hemisphere against this significant but underestimated threat in the southern hemisphere. Now, we don't get much more information about how they're going to do that and what they're trying to accomplish. I mean, we get the idea of regime change, obviously, but there's a lot more to it than just, changing out who's leading the country. So we don't get much detail on that, but something tells me if they have this as an aspect of Project 2025 that they must do, and Project 2025 is like anywhere from 50 to 60% implemented right now. That government shutdown is just jetting this stuff through and getting it done because they don't have to go through all the legal stuff with Congress and stuff. You know how this country is supposed to be done. Anyways, that's here nor there. But what we have here is Project 2025. One of the aspects is a regime change in Venezuela. So this could possibly be an indicator that this situation between the United States and Venezuela could actually happen. And it is possible that this may be something that we could see while the church is still here. We talk about the wars and rumors of wars, and there's the situation with NATO and Russia and Ukraine. We see what's going on in the Middle East. We see what's happening with the China, Taiwan, and all that type of stuff. And a lot of people think that may happen while we're still here. I don't believe that because I hold by Matthew 24 that the rapture is going to happen before anything global earth-shaking happens. But it is possible that we could see a war break out between the United States and Venezuela and while we're still here. So like I always say, keep an eye on that. Continue to watch that situation from there. And last but not least, another pedophile in the church. And so I always like covering this stuff because I don't think it gets talked about near enough with what we see going on. And right here it says, Christian musician who sang at Trump rally arrested on child pornography charges. John Sheptock was arrested on charges of possession and production of child pornography. And yes, he was one who sung at a Trump rally in 2022. It says John Sheptock, a Christian musician and former worship minister at a Texas Baptist church, was arrested in late September on charges of possession and production of child pornography. As reported by ABC 13, the arrest came after his alleged victim testified that Sheptock stole a photo of her 9 years ago when she was 17. After the defendant, Sheptock, sent the image of the victim. He told her that he wanted more explicit images of her, reads the written testimony. The defendant, Sheptock, then sent her a video depicting someone being physically assaulted, accompanied by a statement implying that he did not want that to happen to her, basically saying, send me more explicit images or I'm going to do something like that. Court records also accused Sheptalk of showing the victim multiple nude photographs of adults and minors on his computer. Behavior allegedly continued as recently as last October, according to the detectives, when Sheptalk sent a text message with a nude photo of young girls to the alleged victim. Sheptalk served as a worship minister at First Montgomery Baptist Church, which confirmed in a statement that he has been arrested on charges related to child pornography and that he was immediately removed from all responsibilities at the church. And this is, I just like to bring awareness and whatnot to this, because this is a growing problem here in the church. It's been there. It's not something that just stopped or just started. When I say it's a growing problem, I don't mean it just started and it's now becoming a problem. What I mean is, because the world is spinning deeper into these last days, spinning deeper into darkness, not only is this type of stuff increasing within the church, it's already been like crazy, but it's increasing. But now we're starting to get more and more public displays of this stuff happening. We just covered not too long ago the Robert Morris situation and how deep and corrupt that goes, and his sentence isn't as long as it needs to be. And there's other people who helped cover this up and knew the situation, but they didn't do anything about it. They need to get some type of punishment, but they're not either. But this is why we thank the Lord that he is going to be the ultimate judge when that time comes. But we have another situation of more pedophilia and child pornography in the church, and that's supposed to be the one place that you could go to be safe from everything like that. But predators know that, and they utilize that to the best of their ability, unfortunately. So, but that's the Wretched Recap for October 24th. Thank you guys for joining me today. And hopefully you guys come and hang out on our podcast that we do. It's every Saturday, every Tuesday. It is 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And we go over a whole bunch of this stuff. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. Maranatha.